We're at the Gene Siskel Film Center where Split Pillow Productions presents Chicago360's Aliens in the City. Here with Dennis from Split Pillow Productions. So tell me, what is Split Pillow Productions?
Split Pillow is a nonprofit organization here in Chicago that helps develop up-and-coming Chicago filmmakers. We produce films. We also do youth workshops in underserved communities around the city that focus on film and video.
And what was Chicago360 about?
Chicago360 is really a glimpse into the undiscovered esoteric part of Chicago that most people are just not aware of. So it's really a snapshot, a postcard about this city and how rich it is and how interesting it is and about how many things going on here that most people don't know about. And it's really a way to preserve that moment in time, preserve these really interesting people, and really showcase the diversity of the city.
So for people that want more information about Split Pillow or this event, how do they find it?
You can visit us at www.splitpillow.com or visit us on Facebook at Split Pillow.
That's all right with you. That's all right, mama. There's any way you do it.
Chicago busking laws are terrible.
Some performers to battle. Just to play in a spot.
I'm here with Alex, who did music in there. Why did you choose that theme?
Well, I've always really loved music, and I've had some experience doing like music videos, other music-related projects. And I thought Aliens in the City, well, I took that as a metaphor like everyone else did. And I thought, you know, who do I think about that's kind of, you know, almost apart from society a little bit, at least they're perceived to be. And I thought street musicians would be a great subject because they're really talented. But, you know, I had a lot of questions. You know, how much money do they make? How do they go about playing? How do they choose their spots?
A mass killing is underway in Illinois this morning. 100 tons of fish are being electrocuted or poisoned in a waterway south of Chicago.
Silver carp and bighead carp appear when they want to appear, and they evade appearance when they seek to do so. So it is the lack of sight is not evidence that they're not there.
What's carp about?
Carp, a four-letter word, is about the Asian carp. They're an aquatic invasive species that's been getting a lot of media attention lately. They're one of probably 150 to 200 invasive species that are in and around the Mississippi River Basin and the Great Lakes Basin. And they're a fish that was imported in the 1970s into catfish farms, and they adapted really well to life here. They've multiplied, and they're very comfortable, and they're starting to edge out some of the native species.
This isn't regular bar night. There's something going on. So I asked the bartender what was going on, and he says, well, we've moved from having the Mr. Gold Coast contest to calling it International Mr. Leather. More exciting to me than Miss America, Miss Universe, because these are people that most people in America are not going to see.
The film is an interesting film because it features something that many Chicagoans that have lived here for years don't know. What is that?
Well, it's the International Mr. Leather competition, and it started here in Chicago about 32 years ago, and it's been held on every Memorial Day weekend downtown at either the Hyatt or the Hilton, you know, like major big hotels, and, you know, not many people in Chicago know what's going on. They might see, you know, strange dressed men walking around and wonder like where are all these men coming from, but International Mr. Leather, they're here competing.
Now, when you guys did this, did you guys know what you were getting into, or did you go in there with, you know, head wide open, ready to just shoot?
I would say a little mixture of both. We were familiar with the weekend and an IML, but not to the extent of the whole competition and what goes into it with the 52 contestants this past year from all over the world. I forget how many different countries and throughout the U.S. So, yeah, I mean, it was definitely eye-opening to see the amount of time and work that goes into producing this show.
Disability, to me, is kind of a generic catch-all term. It could be somebody with an intellectual disability, it could be somebody with mental illness, hearing disability, visual disability. So it takes so many different shapes and forms.
Did you take any experience out of this film after it was done and edited and everything?
Yeah, I got to meet some new friends, and, you know, I got to learn a few things too, so it was a lot of fun.
Which is an amazing experience. And you guys over here, if you guys excuse me, what made you want to do this film?
Well, I've been working with the disability community for a while as a filmmaker. basically one of the subjects years ago asked me to come and shoot some of their arts programs. So I had started to develop relationships with some of the people.
People aren't disabled, people live with disabilities, but if we provide them with the accessibility to do things that they need to do, they're just, people.
What is a Puerto Rican? Puerto Rican is the mixtures of the Taino, which are the indigenous people of the island that they call Borican before the Spaniards arrived there, then mixed with the Spaniards and other Europeans, and then mixed with the Africans. That's what a Puerto Rican is.
So what made you do this film?
Well, I'm half Puerto Rican, and it's always been, it was a sort of an exercise in me reconnecting with my culture as much as it was expressing that for other people. And it's one of the more unique cultures here in the city of Chicago, specifically because they don't assimilate like many of the other cultures, especially Latinos in general, but more specifically Puerto Ricans.
Your message wasn't to tell them, hey, there's Puerto Ricans in Chicago. Right. I'm sure that wasn't. What was your message?
It was basically just look at all the things that Puerto Ricans bring to the city and all the things that are available, all the cultural expressions that are available for the rest of the city to enjoy.